So this is Tuesday Talks at 10:30. I'm Evidential Medium Stacy Niedenthal. This is not an angel card reading. This is not a mediumship reading. This is just a time where we sit together for, I don't know, about an hour. And I tell you some thoughts and some things to ponder on that I feel that I've been given by spirit, by angels, by guides. They're things that kind of just come to me the night before of what we can talk about. My main goal here is to help everyone feel as if they're not alone, that grief is real, but there's a way to get back home, to find yourself again if you're feeling kind of confused and disoriented. So I'm a child of God, evidential medium, spiritual healer, and I have the ability to channel spirit using love and light for my higher good and the higher good of those that God puts in my path. I'm not the medium that says, I see death all around you and you're going to be dead in 10 days. My gift, my prayer, is always that God and spirit and angels bring in the most loving message to help your spirit heal. This is part of my prayer, part of my statement that I make when we're sitting face to face before I do a reading. And like I said, this is not a reading. This is just a time for us to sit together and chat. So welcome. If this is the first time you've been on, put a 1 so that I can personally welcome you afterwards. And let me know where you're watching from. So I have a lot of events that are coming up that I'm going to just talk about here for a few minutes, and then we'll start talking. So July 29th and 30th, next week, I'll be in Bel Air, Maryland. The privates are all sold out, but there are still a few seats, I believe, in the intimate group reading. August 1st, Camp Hill at Crystal Cove Collectibles. It's a new venue. There are quite a few seats that are available. August 15th, I can't speak this morning. Rose Claire, which is also a fellow medium, and I are doing a gallery reading on Zoom. So no matter where you're at, you're able to attend. October 17th through 19th is the Women's Retreat in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Coming up, I don't have these put out on the emails or on Facebook yet, but on the 27th, I'm getting together with my sister to do a Harry Potter tea followed by a gallery reading. October 28th, I'll be in Fawn Grove at Kismet Epiphany. And then starting in September, Rose Claire and I will be hosting some classes to help you to release that spiritual gunk. And you can sit in on all classes or pick and choose. We'll be announcing those very soon. So those are the announcements. You can always check my social medias or the website to get more information about them. So, commercial over, announcements over. Let's get down to what we're talking about today. So I'm on my phone because for some reason my laptop wasn't connecting to the internet. So you have me in maybe a smaller form, but that's okay. So today I want to talk to you about condolences. And condolences are those expressions of sympathy that we give to those who have lost someone. There are also condolences that we receive when we lose someone. And you know, it's when you're suffering with loss, it's hard to hear things. It's hard to say things. You suffer this loss sometimes in private. And when you don't know what to say, you will see people announce RIP, rest in peace. And it's difficult to announce the loss of someone, and it's difficult to acknowledge the loss of someone. So the way that we do it a lot of times is we say rest in peace. And when you think about that, I think to myself, the person who has gone on to the other side is already resting in peace. We're the ones struggling. We're the ones that without that human here, all of a sudden, our peace is not restful. So I want you to think, if your loved one was sending you a condolence, what would they say to you? I believe they would say, I want you to live in peace. I don't want you to get stuck in grief. I want you to think about your life honoring me. And this would be your loved one talking to you. So the pain of grief is not peaceful, but I feel death itself is. I read once in a book that when we pass, it's that final period at the end of the last sentence of our chapter, and then the book is closed for that person. And all that's left is the memory of reading that book, of being with that book, that those who are still here carry on. And wouldn't you think that the memories that you carry, when you read a good book, don't you talk to someone about it? When you watch a good movie, you have these conversations about what particular things resonated with you. Well, I feel as if the person who has crossed has left you with a lot of good memories, a lot of things that you want to talk about, the things that brought the best out in you. They have no more worries, no more pain, no more health issues. Their spirit is free, and they are totally surrounded by the warm light of love. So how do we honor them when we grieve? You know, that's like the big question mark. How do we continue? How do we honor them to our best ability? And when you think about how we honor them, when you think about like the celebration of life, sometimes we play their favorite songs. We have pictures of them when we're celebrating their life. We have people get up and talk about what they meant to them. This can continue even after the celebration of life is over. You honor them by being your best. Only you can account for the things that you do and you remember and you say and how you act. Maybe they meant the world to you and you feel as if the wind has been knocked out of you. I often say that when my mom passed, I felt like I was homesick. I was a kid at camp who couldn't write home or receive letters from home or call home. So think about how they changed your life and strive to change the lives of others. Uncle Glenn was a huge, oh my gosh, he meant the world to me. And he made a huge impact on my life. And through him, I try to make impacts on others. He was so adamant about love being unconditional and people being part of the family and his love for God. So when I get bunched up about certain things, I think about him saying, you know, above all, love. We say rest in peace. And I want you to just pause and think about how you rest at night. Do you sleep well? What's going through your mind? Are they worries about what's going on tomorrow or regrets about the past? You know, how many rests will you have until you pass? How can you make a difference? Find joy in yourself and in others. So, when I think about all of this, and I know maybe I'm kind of going around in circles, I want you to allow yourself to grieve. You don't have to always put on the brave front. Allow yourself to feel these emotions. Grief comes differently to different people. Maybe their life inspires you to accomplish something, to do something in their name. Some people do foundations or 5K runs, maybe a memorial bench somewhere you can go and sit and talk to the one who has passed. Maybe something special on their headstone or a beautiful vase that you can have in your house. It's those things that, what do you feel urged to do to honor them? Maybe you want to repair a relationship that was very meaningful to you at one time and to the person that has passed. Focus on what you're spending your time doing. What matters to you the most? So are you having are you seeking joy every day? I know it sounds kind of weird, when we think about our own mortality, but a lot of times when we lose someone we love, it makes us think about how long we have on this life, on this earth. When I've got this 60th birthday hanging over my head in August, and my mom passed at 73. So I mean, it may be morbid, but I think to myself, if I live as long as my mom, I have 13 years left. What can I accomplish in 13 years that will not only honor her, but honor others after I pass? What can I do to make that final period at the end of the book about me that will continue people talking and knowing that I made a difference in their life somehow, some way? So I think about prioritizing things that are important. I no longer have time for drama. I just don't. Whatever comes my way, I forgive it. Sometimes it takes me a while to forget it. But I have to be my best, or strive to be my best. Allow myself to feel emotions, but not get stuck in them. And I prioritize it by thinking to myself, if I was given 3 months to live, what would I be doing? What would I do? Who would I connect with? I'm prioritizing my last 3 months. What would I do first? And then when I think about it, what about the last 3 days? Who would be the last 3 days of vacation? What do I want to do the most? Who do I want to speak to? And then I think about my last 3 minutes. Who would I want to be surrounding me? What would I want my final words to be? What would I want to have accomplished? And what would that last thing look like? And I think to myself, my mom, my friends who have passed, would want me to honor them by honoring others. Not being stuck in ego, not being stuck in grief. We're sad that they have gone, but we don't have to be, but we can choose to be happy to having had them in our lives. So it's living life on purpose, making the best out of every single moment. When I think, my kids are adults now and my grandkids are getting older. Have I impressed to them enough how much I love them and care for them and would walk through fire for them if I would pass tomorrow? What was the final thing that I said to them? Did I offer them any wisdom? Did they feel loved and connected? So I try to have new insight on conversations that I have with people. I am not a small talk type of person. How's the weather? Look outside, you can see the weather. Oh, they say it's going to rain. I don't care. How are you doing? What's going on in your life? What do you need? How can I help? How can we better connect? So it's searching for clarity and focusing on perspective, taking care of yourself, being kind to those around you, to live in peace. L-I-P, lip, right? It's living in peace, finding peace. There's so much chaos in the world that you can grab a hold of that chaos and ride that roller coaster or that merry-go-round, or you can say, you know what, stop the ride, stop the chaos. This is not for me. And sometimes that means ending relationships. Sometimes that means turning off the news, turning off social medias. Good grief. Some of the things that you see on social media, sometimes I want to say, really? Get a life. Come on. And I'm on social media a lot. I run 2 businesses. Well, I co-run one and I run another business. So I'm on social media a lot. But I try to focus on happiness, joy. Even if I'm talking about grief and death, I'm still focusing on the life that person lived and giving evidence of the continuity of life in the readings that I do. But also, it's if I'm not doing a reading and you're talking to me about a loved one, or I'm talking to you about a loved one that has passed, I want to honor them. I want to talk to them in a way that you know they meant something to me. And there are so many cruel and unforgiving diseases that are out there that just take. You know, they take your mind, they take your health, they take the strength that was once inside of you. They take your memory, you know. So this disease that takes things from you, wouldn't you want your life to give, to receive, to share, instead of taking? So all of us have a choice. We can choose your activities, you can choose your feelings, you can choose your emotions, you can choose how you talk about people, you can choose how you live your life. And it's never too late to start. You know, spend your days honoring your days, doing something that benefits you and the world, that makes this world a better place. Picking up the phone maybe and just texting someone, thinking about you. Just random acts of kindness, randomly doing things. So when I'm thinking of all of this and I'm coming up with this conversation that I'm going to have with you today, right? I think about people who come to me and say that they're afraid of death. And it's not that you want to hurry it along, because your time and your date of death is not for you to choose, right? So and the Bible says something like, a thief in the night I will come, right? So you never know when it's coming. So we fear it because it's the unknown. It's a journey of the unknowing. And you're not going to know it until you actually experience it. But just let me tell you, in my experience, connecting with those on the other side, I put my paper, they are at peace. They are surrounded in love, and they are still around us. And all they want for you is to live in peace. They would not want you to be stuck in grief, but to live in peace and remembering the things that they taught you and the things that surround you from them. So allow yourself to grieve, right? And you know what? There are stages of grief. We've all read about the stages of grief, but they don't come in order. They come out of nowhere. Grief follows no rules or directions. It has no boundaries. They just barge in. This role of grief, this energy of grief, it just barges in. It's hard to put boundaries around grief. And as prepared as you may think that you are for someone's passing, if they've been sick for a long time, friend, you are not prepared. Because when that final period to their life happens, all of a sudden, that book disappears. But your memories can pick that book out of the bookshelf and page through those memories whenever you want. So, I lost my train of thought. So, when we think about the loss of someone and we think about grief, a lot of my clients will also say to me, I feel as if I move on, that I'm forgetting them, that they will be forgotten, that they will be upset with me. Trust me, they're not going to be upset with you for moving on. It doesn't mean that you are forgetting them, but you are continuing your life after their life has gone. living in the lessons that they have taught you, remembering their stories. If you are struggling in grief, talk to friends who are good listeners. The good listener part is a big thing, because there are a lot of people around you that say, if you need anything, let me know. And then when you contact them, all of a sudden they're not available, or the conversation gets switched to them, or, or they rush, or they're like, I had a manager tell me I needed to get over it. And it was literally, oh my gosh, you know what? I don't even think it was during my mom's dying process. I was trying to recount this, that my mom was diagnosed with cancer in April, and she passed in June. And in May, my manager said, look, I know what happened in May, but you need to get over that. And I need you to reach your numbers. I was in sales. And I remember pausing for a moment and saying to my manager, you realize my mother is dying. If you think I'm going to say, I wish I had spent more time at, and then the name of the company, during this time, or I wish I had spent more time with my mom, you're sadly mistaken, and you might as well fire me right now. I had to put that boundary up, because even though this woman, who seemed empathetic and sympathetic, she was not. She had another plan in mind. If you need to talk to a grief counselor or join a support group, do it. There's nothing wrong with that. You need to find your peace so that you can live in peace with the loss of this person. If you're fearing death, if you're a person who fears death and fears what happens, work on realizing that it's a natural process. It's the next chapter. But don't get so hung up on death that you lose sight of life. Faith is the opposite of fear. Have faith to know that when your time is called, you have done the things in life that you needed to do. Live in the present. We have next chapters all throughout our life. We were born in this womb, and we came into the light, and we were given this breath of life, and we lived, and we went through infancy, and we went through being a toddler, and teenage lives, and old age, and different things. So have you lived your best life? And if not, what are you waiting for? Start to do these things. Be grateful for all your experiences, good and bad. I've learned my biggest lessons through traumatizing events. I've learned that a lot of things were not my fault, but I was meant to be in that situation so that I could grow as a person and help others. Find joy in making the most out of your life and those that surround you. If you need to, make plans for your passing. Maybe if you have a will, it'll make you think, you know what, now I don't have to worry about that, right? It's one less thing to worry about. There's a verse in Matthew, and I'm going to read this to you, and I just want you to ponder it and think about it for a moment. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. So you're mourning the loss of your loved one, but find comfort in knowing that they haven't gone that far away. They're still with you in spirit. And then there is another verse in John. I wrote down John 14:27, but I can't exactly read my writing. So I'm pretty sure it might be John 14:21. But anyway, peace I leave you. My peace I give you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. So in this verse from Matthew and this verse from John, blessed are those who mourn. But then we jump to John, peace I leave you. So you're mourning, but peace is what is being given to you My peace I give to you. I feel as if God is saying, your loved ones are saying, I am at peace. I want you to be at peace. And I give you my peace, not as the world gives it to you, but as I give it to you. So think about how the world tries to give you peace. Let not your heart be troubled. Why worry? And do not be afraid. All right? So, even though death, loss is a mystery, at one time or another we're faced with it. We're faced with losses. We're faced with the reality of our own passing. It's, and thinking through that. So we experience grief and loss. And we say, rest in peace. And that's a given. That is an absolute given. Their pain is over. They are at rest. And their advice to us, their condolences to us would be, I want you to live in peace. I want you to find peace, radiate peace, offer it to others. So I want you to ask yourself, why do I only say rest in peace? Why not live in peace too? Why wait? Find your peace. And like I said, if you're having difficulty finding peace, seek help. Talk to a counselor. Talk to a good friend. Look for that peace within you. And maybe there's something that you need to walk through and release. Forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others. Know that your loved one is not angry with you. I'm sorry. They don't feel human emotions. So they're not angry with you. They want you to live in peace, peacefully, finding that within yourself. So I just wanted you to kind of ponder these two things that we often go to when someone passes. I pray that they rest in peace. Maybe you want to offer to your friend who has lost someone, I pray that you can live in peace. How can I help you find peace? And ask yourself when you've lost someone, how do I find peace? How do I radiate peace and love and joy? How do I make my mark? What is my final chapter gonna look like? Something to think about. All right, guys. I'm Evidential Medium Stacy Niedenthal. This is Tuesday Talks at 10:30. I hope this gave you something to think about. Instead of being stuck in grief, you feel it, you walk through it, and then you live in peace. And it may come back up as it knows no boundaries or no borders. But to get that center again, to breathe in that light and that love that God has given to you. And the words that, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I feel like that is your loved one's condolences to you. I want you to live in peace. Let not your heart be troubled, and do not be afraid. All right? Okay, guys. Tuesday Talks at 10:30. I'm Evidential Medium Stacy Niedenthal. I hope you have a great and wonderful day. If there's a subject that you would like me to speak about, private message it to me or put it in the comments. But it's going to be a beautiful day. Find your peace. Live in joy. Live on purpose. And make each and every moment count. I'll talk to you next week. Peace out. I pray that you live the life you love and you love the life you live. If not, you're the only one that can change it. I'll talk to you later.